Welcome, and thank you for joining us again for episode 2 of WNCC Workout Wednesdays. Today's episode features Scottsbluff Bearcat, point guard, leader of their state tournament run, and Western Nebraska signee, Jasiya DeOllos. The main focus of the bodyweight exercises today are core stability and explosive jumping movements. Once again, the first thing that we're going to do is get warmed up. We would never want to risk an injury by not being warmed up or not having our muscles ready to compete at a high level. We also would never want to waste our time by not having our muscles in our body at its optimal level, ready to work and get better. You may want to have a specific warm-up depending on what exercises you're going to do, so those specific areas of the body are ready to go. The first bodyweight exercise today is burpees. This exercise I think is most associated with football, although this is great for kids of all ages and kids in all sports. This exercise is great for endurance, burns a ton of calories, and the specific parts of the body it's helping are shoulders, chest, quads, glutes, hamstrings, and abs. This is a great bodyweight exercise because it connects your full body. You get all the way down to ground level and also as high up in the air as you can. It's working all the way down to your glutes, quads, and hamstrings, all the way up to your shoulders and chest. And it ends with an explosive jump, which is good for pretty much every sport. The next bodyweight exercise that we've got is a single leg deadlift. Once again, this is another exercise that'll be great for all sports and kids of all ages. The main thing the single leg deadlift is going to help us work on is stretching and building muscle in our hamstring. That's what you're going to feel the most while you bend over. It's also going to help us create a ton of balance and strength in our knee and our ankle. While we're balancing and focusing on stabilizing in our knee and ankle, we're also going to need to engage our core to keep ourselves balanced, straight, and upright. Lastly, this is really going to help our hip movement and mobility. The next bodyweight exercise that we've got are bear crawls. This is a great full body exercise for kids of all ages and kids in all sports. Bear crawls are a great workout for your core. Think about doing a plank. Your hands are in the ground, your feet are back, you feel a great workout and tension in your core. This is just like that, but now our front half is moving forward with our chest and our shoulders feeling most of the burn, and our bottom half is pushing forward with our quads and our glutes feeling most of that burn. This is also helping us build a ton of hand and wrist strength by holding up our body and keeping us moving forward, and it's also great for your endurance. If you're doing your bear crawls right, you should be sweating and extremely tired by the end of them. Next, we've got the broad jump. This is going to help a lot with our explosion in our jumping, as well as our short area quickness by jumping horizontally. This exercise teaches your core to help you with this explosive jumping, and it also forces your core to help with your stabilization when you land. The main explosive muscles that we're working on in this exercise are our quads and our calves. Next, we're getting into some footwork and agility. All you need for this is simply just a line on the ground. If you've got a driveway, there should be a crack out there for you to jump over. This is going to help a ton to improve your footwork, your foot speed, some reaction time, and coordination in your feet. These short bursts and short jumps are going to help with your quickness, your speed, and your strength in your ankles and your feet. The situations that we find our bodies in our competitive sports, are always unpredictable. Being able to move your body as fast as possible and efficiently as possible is important in every sport we play. The basketball skill that we work on today is ball handling. As a point guard, this should be something that Jasiya spends a ton of time doing. The ball handling drills that we do today will all be stationary. Now there's a million different things that we can do with ball handling. We can make moves on the run, we can utilize cones and chairs, we can make moves that lead into layups and finishes, but today it's all going to be stationary. We're going to start out a little bit basic, and then we're going to add more and more to it to make it more complicated and make you really have to work and utilize your brain thinking about multiple different things. The points of emphasis for these ball handling drills today are always staying in a stance. No matter what sport you're playing, you've got to be able to live at a low level. The low man wins in basically every sport. The next point of emphasis is dribbling the basketball as hard as you can. If you can over-exaggerate how hard you pound the basketball in drills, it'll be that much easier to have control over the basketball in a real game. Every time Jasiya pounds the ball today, we want him to focus on trying to put a dent in the floor. And the last point of emphasis is living at knee height. When Jasiya pounds the basketball as hard as he can, while he's low in a stance, attempting to put a dent in the floor, we want that basketball to only come up to about knee height. As you're about to see in this video, there's times the ball comes a little bit too high. Even Jasiya has got to get better at his ball handling. The most important thing in my opinion when it comes to doing ball handling drills is not worrying about making mistakes. Instead, you should expect to make mistakes. You should push yourself so hard that you have no choice but to lose control of the basketball. If you're not making mistakes, you're probably not going hard enough. We've all got a comfort level, and if we just stay inside of that comfort level, we're not going to get much better. It's when we push ourselves outside of our comfort level, consistently outside of our comfort level, until we raise that level up. Now we've become a better basketball player. The first thing that we're going to do with our handle is get warmed up. We're going to pound the ball as hard as we can with both hands. This is going to help us knock any rust off that we may have. It's going to help us find a good feel for the ball. It's going to help us feel a little more comfortable when we get into our live drills. Next, we're going to walk it out. We're going to pound the ball again as hard as we can. We want to move the ball from side to side. This is once again helping us find the feel for the ball, being able to manipulate the basketball no matter where it's at around our body. What we've got next is a drill called 20s. This is a drill we do with our college basketball team all the time. We're going to start in a stance, pound the basketball, and cross over to our other hand. Immediately when it hits that other hand, we want to put the ball right back down with a pound dribble, and then cross over again to our other hand. We're going to do the same thing with between the legs, which in our program we just call through, and we're going to do the same thing with the behind the back, which in our program we just call it under. So we're going to pound cross 20 times, pound between the legs 20 times, and pound behind the back 20 times. In this drill, when we make our crossover moves and our between the legs move, we want to keep our feet still. We want to be good enough with our handle that we are manipulating the ball around our body instead of manipulating our body around the ball. The lower you sit down in a stance, the bigger window there is for you to drop the ball right underneath your behind. Putting your heels on the ground when you make this behind the back or under move translates to a real game when you need to change speeds and get a defender off you. You're going full speed and all of a sudden you stop. You come to 0 miles per hour by putting your heels on the ground and making a strong, powerful behind the back move. After our first rep of 20s, we're going to take a breath and then come right back and do the exact same drill, this time with our eyes closed. We should be a little better the second time around, but now we're going to take away our vision, so we really have to trust our hands and our coordination to be able to handle the basketball at a high level without being able to see the ball. This next drill, called 22s, gets a little bit more advanced. We're now going to add a second basketball. We're going to pound both basketballs twice, drop one of the basketballs, and then make a double crossover move with the ball that we're still dribbling. You're going to cross over twice with both hands, go through and back twice with both hands, go through both legs twice with both hands, and then go under twice with both hands. This drill forces you to lose contact with the basketball and then gain control over that basketball again while trying to be smooth enough to make these moves game-like. Finishing this drill can be very tricky. Keep one basketball alive while you kill the other one. When you feel like you've got control of the basketball that you're dribbling, pound the ball on top of the stationary ball on the ground, gain control of both basketballs, then kill them both. And that's the end of the drill.
Stay when you got time.
In this next drill, we're going to work on the same crossovers, throughs, and under moves that we've been working on, but now we're going to add a smaller ball as a distraction to make us better. We're going to start with single moves. So when we throw this ball up in the air, your brain now has to focus on two different things. You don't want the ball to fall and hit the ground, but you've also got to maintain pounding the ball, trying to put a dent in the floor, and making a game-like move. This is trying to force your brain and your body into making these moves and pounding the basketball almost second nature. Your brain can leave and focus on catching a basketball or an offside defender, or maybe it's a defender reaching. This is going to help your brain to be able to handle the basketball without even thinking about it. As we progress, we keep making it harder and harder. We add double moves, we add triple moves. We even let the ball bounce and try to snatch the ball up off the ground. In this part of the workout, it is up to you to be as creative as you'd like to be. Maybe you throw the ball as high as you can and see how many moves you can make before the ball gets back down.
Hope you guys are staying safe. Keep working.